Okay, imagine this. You've got this highly disciplined guy, right? Recently retired from the presidential security forces. He's on a moonlit beach in Egypt. Now he's been living this life of intense focus, social life, totally on hold, and he's feeling, well, edgy.
Yeah, coiled spring kind of feeling.
Exactly. Then, out of nowhere, this beautiful kind of secretive model appears. One look. And it's just this undeniable, really passionate one-night stand.
Intense.
They only exchange first names. Just this brief, powerful connection, and then poof, they part ways. Fast forward almost a whole year, he sees her face on a magazine cover, and she's pregnant.
Wow. That's the kind of bombshell moment that just forces you to rethink absolutely everything, you know, responsibility, commitment, what connection even means.
Right. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Yeah, this is our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack all those surprising twists, those really profound shifts in perspective that happen after that big reveal.
We're using this incredible story, really, as a case study, exploring what true responsibility looks like, the powerful, sometimes really overwhelming complexities of family legacies.
And how just one single unexpected event can completely change how someone understands love and commitment. It's fundamental.
Our source material really lays out this unfolding journey of Quade Westmoreland and Cheyenne Steele. It gives us this unique, really compelling narrative that hits on all these universal themes.
Absolutely. You're about to see how one night can, well, quite literally reshape an entire future and maybe reveal some deeper truths about who these people are and maybe even about ourselves.
Okay, so let's start with Quade Westmoreland. He's 36, just retired from the Presidential Security Forces, or PSF, which our source says is this interesting dual branch, Secret Service and CIA.
Right, so his job involved protecting the president, but more behind the scenes, especially with security during visits abroad.
And he liked his job because he liked having his space, you know, not being crowded or cramped, which is kind of ironic given what happens later.
Definitely. So he meets Cheyenne Steele in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. He's there on business, prepping for a presidential visit. And the source describes him as feeling hot, edgy, and his testosterone had been totally out of whack.
Yeah, basically long periods of putting his social life on ice. So this super disciplined guy, usually so controlled, is just primed.
You could say that. It really sets the stage for this powerful meeting.
And apparently he actually felt her presence before he even saw her on the beach, 1 a.m.
Wild. And it was instant, fierce, purely physical attraction described as hot, unexplainable.
Yeah, the source is pretty blunt. He had one goal in mind, finding a way to get her into his bed. Now, what do we make of that? This immediate, intense physical thing taking over someone who's usually all about precision and control.
Well, that's what makes it so compelling, right? Despite his background, this high-stakes security mindset, the text suggests it was just this overwhelming, almost visceral pull. And yet, there's a little nuance there with Cheyenne's actions. She tells her friend where she is, her hotel room, which Quade himself notes was a smart move.
Right.
It hints at maybe a layered dynamic, even in the middle of all that heat. What does that tell you about her own awareness, maybe apprehension?
Good point. Okay, let's talk about Cheyenne Steele. She's a professional model, originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, but living in Jamaica for 3 years.
And at the time they met, she was actually 23, but she told Quade she was 28.
Why? She was afraid he'd walk away if he knew how young she really was.
Right.
Which immediately signals something, right?
Yeah.
A vulnerability, maybe a stronger desire to connect than she let on.
It certainly does. And what's really insightful is her background. The source says she was sexually inexperienced compared to many, only 2 previous partners.
Wow.
And Quade was the first man she'd been intimate with in 4 years. Her attraction was apparently just as intense from the get-go. She felt like she would make love with him right there on the beach.
So it shows this real depth of feeling, maybe an openness. That's kind of a fascinating contrast to Quade's more primal initial reaction.
Exactly. Then the narrative shifts. Big time. Cheyenne goes back to North Carolina and discovers she's pregnant, decides to have the babies born in the U.S., closer to family.
And the revelation? It's not 1 baby.
Nope.
It's 3 triplets. 2 daughters, Venus and Athena, and a son, Troy.
And they were born 8 weeks premature, spent 3 weeks in the hospital. Plus, this was a total shock. Apparently, no record of multiple births in her family, just adds layer upon layer of the unexpected.
So fast forward, it's now December, almost a year after Egypt. Quade sees Cheyenne on the cover of an October magazine, proudly pregnant.
Boom! Revelation time. He immediately gets on a plane to Charlotte, North Carolina.
And his first thought, very telling, very Quade, if the child was his, he would do the right thing, which meant asking her to marry him, give the child his name.
Right, but listen to this part. After a reasonable amount of time, they could file for a divorce and part ways.
Wow. So duty first. Almost transactional, isn't it, considering his background? Is that responsibility or just fulfilling an obligation?
That's the question. So he confronts Cheyenne. She's cagey at first, understandably, and then drops the real bombshell. Not a baby, 3 babies.
And Quaid's reaction? Mouth drops open. Total shock.
Yeah.
But then, almost immediately, he smiles.
Yeah, he thinks, Westmoreland triplets, the first in his generation of Westmorelands. Damn.
He hides the amusement quickly, asks if they're okay. But that split-second reaction, from shock to almost pride, that's huge, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It instantly connects everything back to this powerful underlying force in his life, the Westmoreland family.
So he insists on seeing them. Cheyenne tries to put him off, they're sleeping, but he pushes. Eventually she lets him in.
And he's nervous at first. The source says a scary sensation ripped through him, but then he's just overcome. Emotion, connection.
He looks at Troy, sees his stubborn chin, his father's dark eyes, sees the shape of his mouth that Cheyenne had plastered hers to that night.
It's this immediate, almost instinctual fatherly bond, which is fascinating, especially given his initial, more pragmatic thoughts about a quick marriage and divorce.
Yeah, and this leads us straight into the bedrock of who Quaid is. The Westmoreland family code of ethics.
Right. He explains it clearly. Westmorelands take full responsibility for their actions no matter what they are. This wasn't just advice, it was drilled into them from day one.
So how does this deep-seated code, shaped by generations, actually play out when faced with something this huge, this unexpected?
Yeah.
What does it tell us about how our core beliefs shape our reactions in a crisis?
Well, that's where this gets really interesting. The Westmoreland family is big, super close-knit, and get this, multiple births are incredibly common.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, Quaid's a twin, his dad's a twin, his cousin John has twins, and his uncle Corey fathered triplets.
Wow, so it's like destiny knocking.
It almost feels that way, doesn't it? This strong family, this intense code, this history of multiple births. It provides this amazing lens for understanding Quaid's reaction. It's not just background noise. It's like his whole life has prepared him for this specific moment.
So Quaid's plan, driven by this code, maybe this sense of family destiny, it's crystal clear. Marry Cheyenne. Immediately. Give the kids the Westmoreland name.
He says he wants his babies to be entitled to everything I own, and he wants to teach them the same code. It's this blend of duty, legacy, maybe even possessiveness.
Interesting. Now, let's flip to the Steele family. They're also large, close. They own a big manufacturing company run by her cousins.
But Cheyenne's dynamic is different. Her older sisters are very protective, try to mother her, which she seems to resist.
Right, because she values her independence fiercely. Left home for Boston University right after high school, specifically to avoid being under someone's thumb. Even bought her own investment place in Charlotte.
Which sets up this fantastic tension when Quaid comes crashing back into her life with marriage proposals.
Oh yeah, her initial reaction is a flat no. I have no intention of marrying you. I don't even know you. Out of bed.
Ouch. But direct.
Totally. She's determined to raise the babies herself. Says she hired a housekeeper, though later admits she doesn't actually have a nanny yet. Wants to prove she can handle it all alone.
What does that tell you about her definition of independence and maybe her fears, especially given she lied about her age initially? Is she afraid of losing control?
Could be. Or being defined by this relationship instead of her own strength. It's complex. And when she talks to her sisters about Quaid...
She downplays it, right? Calls it spontaneous combustion, a sexathon.
Yeah, trying to keep it purely physical, maybe?
Yeah.
Even when facing triplets in a proposal, it seems like a defense mechanism, trying to maintain that emotional distance.
But Quaid is, well, a Westmoreland. He doesn't give up easily. He knows she thinks they only connect physically, so he makes her a proposition.
Basically. Give us time. Let's get to know each other outside the bedroom. His job, he says, will be to try to impress you, sweep you off your feet, and make you feel comfortable enough to consider the fact that you, me, and the babies together as a family is the only way things can be.
Smooth.
But also
backed up with steel. He makes it very clear, if she refuses, he's getting lawyers involved for shared custody. He will be part of these kids' lives. Period.
So it's charm and assertion. Using their chemistry, but also laying down the non-negotiable terms of his responsibility. It really corners her, doesn't it?
It does, and all through this back and forth, that physical attraction is still electric. He keeps bringing up memories of Egypt, reminding her how hot for each other they were.
And her body apparently reacts, even when her mind is saying no.
Exactly. But he also steps up in practical ways, changing diapers, bathing the babies, rocking little Venus to sleep. He even cleans the kitchen, carries Cheyenne to bed when she falls asleep exhausted.
So it's this mix, the primal pull, but also this protective, capable provider side emerging. It's a powerful combination.
Definitely. And this intense connection, this push and pull, it all gets put to the ultimate test, a medical crisis.
Right. Venus, the smallest triplet, she's not gaining weight like the others. The pediatrician warned them. If her weight doesn't improve, she's going into the hospital's special care unit. Feeding tube, the whole thing.
The stakes just shot way up. External pressure, real fear.
And it's Troy, the little troublemaker, who's crying alerts Cheyenne that something's wrong with Venus. She's having trouble breathing.
Panic stations. Cheyenne frantically calls for Quaid.
And he just takes over, immediately takes Venus, starts resuscitation, that PSF training kicking in when it matters most, while Cheyenne's sister calls 911.
Wow. His background isn't just a detail anymore, it's literally life-saving.
At the hospital, he's apparently rock solid for Cheyenne, holding her, reassuring her, saying Venus has Westmoreland and steel blood flowing through her veins.
Strong words. Then the diagnosis comes. Hyaline membrane disease, HMD or RDS. Common in preemies, caused by underdeveloped lungs lacking surfactant. Venus goes on a ventilator.
This shared trauma, this terror, it acts like a forge, doesn't it? Burning away the arguments and defenses, creating this incredibly strong emotional bond almost overnight.
Precisely. And this is where Quaid has his big realization. He understands fatherhood on a whole new level, but crucially, he understands his feelings for Cheyenne.
He thinks it was about Cheyenne, the woman that he knew he loved, admits he had probably fallen in love with her the exact moment they had met on the beach.
It makes you wonder, right? Are these intense moments of shared crisis, shared responsibility, the things that truly accelerate deep connection, stripping away all the usual games and timelines?
It seems like it here. He tells Cheyenne he loves her. She's shocked. But then
She admits it too. The only thing I have to say is that I love you too. Says she thinks she had probably fallen in love with him on sight that first night and felt connected to Quaid threefold when she gave birth.
So her resistance to marriage wasn't about not having feelings. It was because she thought he only felt obligation. Duty, not love.
Exactly. But now, seeing him through this crisis, seeing his genuine care, his goodness, as the source calls it, she believes it's real. More than just lust or the Westmoreland Code.
And Quaid reinforces it. You and I are a team. It's a complete turnaround. Partnership.
Then comes the good news about Venus. It was a mild case of HMD, treatable. Ventilator off, breathing on her own, going home soon. Huge relief.
So the crisis, terrifying as it was, ultimately cements them, clarifies everything.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle. With the immediate danger over and their love declared, a final secret comes out. Something that explains a lot about their initial meeting.
What is it?
Cheyenne reveals she knows why Quaid was really in Egypt. She says, you got paid to put your life on the line for the president, and I did the same for the first lady.
No way. She also worked for the PSF.
On a part-time basis, yeah.
Yeah.
Using her modeling status as cover to check out places that needed security assessment.
That changes everything. Her secrecy, her independence, why the hotel wouldn't give Quaid info. It all makes sense now.
Completely reframes their first encounter, doesn't it? Not just a random impulsive hookup. It was two highly capable, highly secretive professionals whose lives were already running on parallel tracks unknowingly.
Wow. Okay. So with everything out in the open.
Cheyenne agrees. She'll change the baby's last names to Westmoreland. And she accepts Quaid's proposal.
The independence she fought for. She finds a way to have it within this new partnership based on love and shared responsibility.
And Quaid, he's surprised she says yes so quickly, but totally thrilled, already talking about wanting more babies. And apparently he loves being around for breastfeeding time.
Huh. Okay. So they plan the wedding. Fast. For the upcoming weekend, just 2 weeks before Christmas. Even though she's worried about how small a wedding can be with the huge Westmoreland clan involved.
It's clear they've both found something completely unexpected. A future much bigger and probably much better than either of them had planned.
Okay, let's try and unpack this whole journey for you. It starts with this chance encounter, right? Moonlit beach, two very secretive people. Leads to triplets, a huge medical scare.
And Quaid and Cheyenne's story really shows how fast unforeseen things can just completely transform individual lives and really redefine what family even means.
What's so insightful, I think, is how their intense physical connection combined with these really strong backgrounds, his code of responsibility, her drive for independence, and that shared secret job, how all that opened the door for something much deeper.
Mm-hmm. Especially when parenthood and that crisis hit them, it just accelerated everything. It shows you the power of those external pressures, those deep personal codes, in shaping decisions and maybe forcing connections faster.
Yeah, which leads to a bigger question, maybe for you listening. In a world that often seems focused on, immediate gratification, where relationships can feel disposable, what power do these unaccepted life events, these deeply held values actually have?
Right. Do they forge bonds that are maybe stronger, unbreakable even, leading to a love that perhaps was always sort of meant to be, just waiting for the right catalyst?
Think about it. How can those outside pressures, whether it's family expectations or a real crisis, reveal someone's true character and spark deep connections in ways that just normal everyday life might not?
Something definitely to mull over, how crisis can sometimes reveal clarity.